We're here with round one. RBET Orlando just finished the starting tournament announcements. We've got Matt K, aka Matt Kalenda, versus Michael C. Michael C, a very kind person. I actually had the pleasure of meeting him.
Most of our events, he is a fan of versus, which means I'm a fan of him.
And it looks like they are underway.
Yes.
In Michael C's hand, I noticed, is that a Ryko Lightsworn Hunter?
I saw a Kristya for sure.
Yeah, an Archlord Kristya as well. So it looks like we've got some sort of fairy deck versus some sort of T set, and I'm assuming you know what it is.
Let's be honest, guys. We know what it is. All right.
Matt K, in his patented player pose here, his body language is some of the most professional. Arcus.
Really good into a potential Ryko here, but if it's a hamster, and it's a hamster. Okay.
And it is a hamster.
So not the greatest here.
Still fine if you're Michael, because honestly, that Arcus is here to stay. I do believe I saw an Honest in Michael's hand, and I don't think the Vayu Turbo deck does anything that can get over Arcus Honest turn one.
No. So normally this would be really bad for Michael because of a potential Caius, a Ryko into a Caius, but of course Arcus is going to put a damper on that plan, and if it does try and get run over,
and Phase Mills too.
Mill. Okay, yeah.
It's Charge and Dimensional Alchemist. Really interesting. It looks like Michael might be on a build that I was playing recently with Pot of Avarice instead of Judgment Dragon.
Yes.
And the full suite of Dimensional Alchemist. So I wonder if he's on that or some sort of hybrid KristyaSworn deck list here. Pretty excited to see where this goes. But I do like his position.
Yes.
Arcus Honest versus these two set monsters. I mean, the Arcus is going to eat the Ryko for free. Here comes a spell card.
It's got Allure of Darkness.
Ultimate rare. Very nice.
Ultimate
looking.
first, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. It definitely has to be.
Yes.
First edition.
Now, I did see a Mirror Force in Matt's hand here, but I don't think he can set it here. I don't think he can afford to overcommit into a potential Heavy Storm, or even a Lila targeting the new back row. So.
True, but I also think that he's probably fine. That's pitching that,
It's another Ultimate Rare card that I definitely can't see.
Yeah, what is that? And a Vayu.
That was a Vayu,
Vayu
for
hits
sure.
the grave, so I'm not really sure what he pitched there. It was either a Necro, I think it's a Necro Gardener. I can't really tell from this angle. We'll see if we can get that graveyard moved over at some point, so there's not that extreme glare on it.
Oh,
at some point.
Keegan, listen to this. I'm pretty sure I just saw a main deck DD Crow in Michael's hand. I might be crazy here, but I think that's what I saw here. And honestly, I think we do pop the Honest here. I think this Arcus is going to get too much value. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do believe I see a main deck DD Crow on. You said Michael's hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, then it's definitely my list. Yeah, my list plays main deck DD Crows.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's pretty good against these types of decks. It's like kind of built to beat these types of decks. Just because you have so many hand traps, and then you have Avarice to reuse your hand traps.
Yes.
And then once you've done that, like you have Kristya as well. You have Ultimate Grave Control for Kristya. It's a very resilient deck. Now that Mirror Force did end up getting set there.
Yes, he did commit the Mirror Force, and it looks like it's going to work out for him here if he tries to go for the Ryko.
Well, here's the thing. Michael doesn't even need to attack. He's going to, but he doesn't need to, theoretically. He could just continue to chill on the Arcus. Even switch at defense, potentially. He has that Crow. So any sort of like Armed Wing, Vayu shenanigans is going to get... He is going to go for that attack. That's going to bite him.
This isn't the worst. Trading an Arcus for a Mirror Force is not the worst.
I think it's pretty bad because now he can't commit further into the board because of that Ryko. I personally definitely would have switched the Arcus to defense there and tried to attack the... One thing he could have done, he has a Ryko in his hand. He could have summoned the Ryko, switched the Arcus to defense, attacked the Ryko with his Ryko.
Leaves him with no options still.
Exactly.
He might value the Ryko mill. It's possible. Matt K also could have just let the attack go through and just mill 3 cards.
Yeah. Another thing that Michael has done here is he didn't set that Ryko main phase too, so that play with the Arcus is definitely going to come back to bite him playing into that Mirror Force. You have to assume, like, what is he setting further into an Arcus?
Right.
What's it going to be? It's got to be Mirror Force or Torrential, right? The only 2 cards that you're going to set further into an Arcus, so definitely something he should have considered there, but still a game. That DD Crow is still going to do something.
Absolutely. And it looks like this attack into potential Gores is pretty free because he still does have the set Ryko here as well.
Exactly. Gores Trag. I believe the list also plays Trag. Once again, I don't know if he's playing it. Okay, there comes the main deck DD Crow hitting the Vayu. This is going to be 2,500 damage, the first damage this game. There's I believe a DD Warrior Lady in hand, a Ryko in hand, a Kristya, and one card I can't quite tell at the very back.
Is that another DD Crow? You said your list runs 2, right? Nope, it's a trap card.
It looks like Call of the Haunted, maybe? I can't quite tell. And again, I don't know if this is exactly my list, but it looks very similar to a list that I've published and played with on the channel before. It looks like a Torrential Tribute.
TT, and it looks like a Herald of Orange Light off the top.
His hand's kind of stacked. If he can find a fairy for that Herald of Orange Light, I believe that puts him up to... I'm not sure if he has one engrave. I know he has the Honest for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The T set here is very interesting. I don't know if I would have set a monster here.
I don't think so either. Matt K would be inclined to potentially either flip the Raikou and target the back row, or just switch the Hamster to defense and keep attacking for 14.
Yeah, and if you target the back row with the Raikou here, like, are you even really chaining the Torrential?
Right, that's another thing too.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward. Looks like the Raikou is going to get flipped. It's going to target
the monster. Okay.
Chaining Torrential here might have been a bit of an oversight.
I don't know if I would. He hasn't normal summoned yet.
Yeah,
he does have a pretty live graveyard. It
is still a 3-for-2, but that Raikou was free, so it's a 2-for-2 kind of. And he got the mill on top of that as well. Although the mill, I believe, only hit a Sirocco. Did you happen to capture one?
I believe it was just a Sirocco, yes.
Yeah. And the set card was a DD Warrior Lady. One thing he could have and probably should have done was summon the DD Warrior Lady and just attack over that Armageddon Knight.
I like that as well.
Yeah. Potentially getting the Raikou to pop the DD Warrior Lady and then a follow-up summon to try and deal with the back row, maybe. Yeah. Definitely could have seen something like that.
Trooper, Caius, and looks like Gale off the top here. So not the greatest mills. Definitely way too many darks for Dark Arm Dragon, but...
Yeah.
I also like how Matt chose not to go aggressive last turn, choosing to first set the Raikou in case, gores.
Just meet the mic.
All right. Looks like a Pot of Avarice, and that's the strength of this deck, is you go Pot of Avarice, you shuffle back, look at that, DD Crow, Honest, 2 hand traps going back into the deck. I do believe Matt K also took 1,200 damage running Greffer into the Arcus. We're going to see if we can get that corrected. And Michael sees lifelines should be 5,300 here, not 2,700. So, yeah, there we go. Cool. So, yeah, Matt K should be at 6,800, and Michael should be at 5,300. Pot of Avarice is going to shuffle back those cards. Very nice, very nice. 6,800. 6,800, yes. There we go. There we go. And we're back. Okay. Oh, yeah, Michael also did take minus 600 from the attack. Yeah. See? The chat,
we're figuring it out.
The chat's got our back for sure, yes.
And there goes another Pot of Avarice.
The Dark Arms, but a Vayu does hit the grave.
Yes.
That's going to be huge. That's a potential lethal threat. And Herald of Orange Light does not stop that Vayu. One thing you have to consider, honestly, if you're Michael C, is he's had those Heralds in his hand, but he didn't use it on the Raikou. Like, I would have maybe thought about using it on the Raikou there, just to get his graveyard set up for that Kristya, just to get value out of the Herald of Orange. As it stands, he's just going to take another big hit here.
Yeah. It might have been worth it to use it on the turn where he flipped Raikou into the Torrential Tribute.
Yeah, just stop the Raikou. And then the DD Warrior Lady walls the other two monsters, and he's forced to commit further into the Torrential.
That's right.
Absolutely. There were so many opportunities to use that Herald up until this point, but this is going to be, I believe, a game shot.
I believe so as well.
Yeah,
that is a lot
of
damage.
Lethal
Definitely
damage.
lethal, yeah.
So I think a couple of things Michael had going in his favor this game, and just it kind of slipped out of him from those plays. Number one, I think the attack with the Arcus was probably a little bit of an over commitment.
Yeah.
And then later on, not using his Herald when he definitely could have. Here comes a stack for Plague. This is probably to make...
Interesting. Is it possible that it wasn't lethal?
No,
it was definitely lethal, yeah.
He's probably doing this just to be able to
it's a Gorge check, it looks like. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This way, he can attack for 23, and then...
I'm not entirely sure this was necessary, but he does have the option of Dark and like main phase 2, I suppose.
So the reason I think going for Plague is good is because if he has Tragodia, it gets in extra damage, and you're going to go for the Plague no matter what to make Dark End anyway. So you might as well do it in the case of Tragodia for extra damage.
True, very true.
It's like if you're going to do it main phase 2 anyway, no matter what, then you might as well do it main phase 1 just to get that extra
either main
damage.
phase or you kill them.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So it doesn't even matter if, basically, yeah. Really good stuff. People are saying it's a little bit difficult to see. I'm going to see if I can make it a little bit bigger for you guys. Let's see if we can alter that. I might have to shrink the chat, though. I hope you guys don't mind. Wrong we go. Let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger. The chat. You guys are getting relegated to the side. You can see the players here in all their glory. It says wrong names on the stream. No, those are the right names.
Oh no, the two-shot it didn't update.
Oh, the two-shot didn't update.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. We'll get that fixed. 1 second here. Someone says knock the chat off. You know what? Goodbye, chat.
As long as we can still see it, right?
We won't be able to see the YouTube chat. Yeah, that's the issue. Yeah.
Oh well, hang on. We have phones, don't we?
We do have phones. We can pull it up on the phone. Yeah. 1 second, everybody. We're just getting you the optimal viewing experience here. I believe this should be good. Oh. Perfect. Let me know how that looks. And let's go ahead and get this chat off the screen. There we go. You guys think that's better? Do you guys think that's better? Are we vibing? Are we chilling and vibing? So Matt K, honestly, not necessarily doing more than what he needed to do that game. Michael kind of just missing a couple interactions, a couple reads that probably would have put him in a much better position to take that game on. I think had Michael held onto that Arcus throughout that game, it would have been nearly impossible for Matt to actually ever really press through that. He would have had to either sacrifice one of his key monsters for a Caius and target his own card.
Right.
And he would have definitely milled towards the Kristya. Or he would have had to play into the DD Crow, stopping that Vayu play. So, yeah.
I think, the strength of attacking with the Arcus there, knowing that you're safe from essentially everything other than, short of Mirror Force, right? I think the thought process there is my hand's quite strong, and I want to play aggressive, which is, again, not what I would have done either. But I do understand the thought process there as well. Now, knowing that, with the Torrential, you could have played that a million different ways with that Torrential. Switching the Arcus into defense and forcing your opponent to play into an 1800 defense monster means extra value from, of course, your Torrential tributes there.
Yeah. So I think that there's definitely a misunderstanding of how powerful Arcus is actually in this matchup to just have in defense position. And in most matchups in general.
Chances are there's 3D prisons in there too. So.
Yep, as well, yeah. So shutting off any further light sworns you want to attack with as well throughout the course of the game. We're going to be moving into game 2. Some of the cards that might be sideboarded in this matchup, do you think that, you're a Vayu Turbo player. What would you side in this matchup, having seen what you saw game 1?
So in the heads-up matchup, if I know what I'm going up against and I know the list, at least 70%-ish, I usually bring in Light Mirror if it's in my sideboard. Again, I'm not really sure what cards are in Matt K's sideboard. Obviously, Light Mirror is a slam dunk card. In the KristyaSworn version specifically, I do like deck dev. Most people are on one deck dev these days from the Vayu deck. If you're really worried about Kristya, I know some decks are running Soul Taker, that sort of thing. But the Vayu deck, I don't like siding too many cards in general. It's just one of those decks that it is turbo efficient, and you don't really want to side too much. So really just Light Mirror and deck dev.
One of the best cards getting played here, turn 1 for Michael. We got Solar Recharge.
Yes.
On the other side, I think he's probably going to be siding, because I probably know this deck list. He's probably going to be siding Royal Decree in some capacity, just to deal with those deck devs, those Light Mirrors, if they are being sided. I know Vayu Turbo, sometimes it can be difficult for them to side Light Mirror because of how reliant they are on Raikou as a card. But, in some matchups it hurts them more than it hurts you, So,
absolutely, yeah.
Matt K, looking at his hand after all of this is happening, maybe a little bit of tell that he didn't side in DD Crow.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not truly the biggest fan of DD Crow in these matchups where all you're doing is trying to keep them off Kristya for a -1. Not really where I want to be.
Normally I would say, yes, that is bad. However, yes, as a card that DD Crow definitely interacts with in a way that you would kind of hope to want. Yeah, I believe. Looks like it's going to be a set monster from Michael and a passing of the turn. Set turn 1 Raikou, you're probably pretty happy to see that as a Vayu player, right?
Absolutely, yeah. There's so many ways you can get around that favorably. Either, Armageddon Knight, Dark Refer, Vayu on turn 1. Now, this could also just be a DD Warrior Lady. You got to be careful with that.
True. Although we did see one DD Warrior Lady hit the graveyard, and you're like, how many? There's the interaction. Exactly how we imagined it, right? Here, you definitely destroy the Vayu.
Yeah.
There's a mill, Card Trooper, DD Crow, and one trap card. I didn't quite get a chance to see what that trap card was. But that's okay. I'm sure he'll fan out his graveyard again at some point.
All right, and then there's the DD Warrior Leader off the top.
Okay.
Rhoda, what are we getting here? Is it free?
Junk Synchron,
okay.
yeah.
I love this. I
Yeah.
love this. This is a very cool list.
Yeah, this
Very cool list.
is my favorite list in Edison format right now. That's why I picked up that
Yeah.
Kristya from you guys earlier, so I can play this deck. But
I do believe Michael should offer to let Matt cut his deck here.
yeah, Matt might have verbally stated that
True,
he doesn't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
cut, so we can maybe get confirmation on that from the table judge as well.
Let's see.
I gotta remove this text. There we go. We're good. Awesome. Okay, here comes Pot of Avarice. Big turn. Although I don't like going for Pot of Avarice before the Junk Synchron. I think you
Yeah.
go Junk Synchron first to bait DD Crow.
You also probably want Junk Synchron back in the deck anyway. It's
Yes.
a one-card power play.
Yeah, it is. It's basically this deck's late game Deep Sea
Yeah.
Diva. So I definitely don't like waiting on that. I'm not sure if he shuffled back his Junk Synchron target there.
I see.
And a Consecrated Light is the summon. Now, Consecrated Light is a card that in this matchup I think is not the best.
It is not as good as it would be against pure Black Wings. Of course, you have things like Raikou and Hamster that you could just normal summon.
As well as Card Trooper.
Card Trooper as well.
Some
yes.
people have cut Card Trooper silly enough to hear that, but I don't
Some
think...
people have, yes.
I don't think
but-
Matt K would be wild enough to cut Card Trooper from his
No,
deck
no,
list.
no, no. Ultimate
definitely
Time Wizard Champion. He is
Yeah.
not playing any bad cards in his deck today.
Yeah, he definitely
so.
wouldn't be playing, zero Card Trooper in his list. Anyway, moving forward. Moving forward. I think Consecrated Light being the summon here is... It's also awkward because he searched Junk Synchron,
Yeah.
which is a dark.
Yes, yes. And, I'm really starting to feel like this play last turn was a real misstep, I think. I mean, imagine just sitting on a 2400, magical android gaining life, This is modern time rules, so life
Yeah.
might really matter.
Or, just like now he can't summon the Junk Synchron because Consecrated
I mean,
Light is in play.
yeah,
Like,
if you
that's-
want to go to the level 1 thinking of here, yes,
he
absolutely.
averaged back. He also averaged back DD Warrior Lady. Just the sequencing of all of it is like he could have averaged back DD Warrior Lady, then rotated for Warrior Lady, then use that Warrior Lady to set up for his Alchemist that he has in the Banner Zone. Now it just feels like the sequencing of his cards here is not, it's not optimal. I would say it's not bad. I mean, he's holding the position well, but he's definitely got some stuff here that he can do. He could probably do differently, if that makes sense. A lot of decision trees in Edison format. Have you noticed that in your many years of playing?
I have noticed that, yes.
Yeah. Decisions like including Card Trooper in your Value Turbo deck. That's a pro heavy storm. Is that on our
A
bingo
pro
card?
heavy against
I believe
a pro
it is
heavy.
on our bingo card.
Okay, let's
We have a giant bingo card. We'll make
Yes.
sure and pull that up in
We'll
between
show
the
that
matches
after
at
this.
some point. But yes, that is pro heavy resolves. And this is going to be Consecrated Light attacking the Sam. Is that what just happened? Am I missing something?
Interesting. I'm confused.
Huh.
Is he now realizing that he wants to summon this Junk Synchron, perhaps?
Yeah,
Let's see.
It looks like Raikou, he's going to take 100. So,
Interesting.
I believe this is first blood this game. Michael C going to drop down to 7,900.
Now he's in a very strange position. Even if he wants to use Honest, then he's just 2-for-1ing himself to kill a Raikou. I mean, this is just not...
This ain't it, Chief.
This is not
I
it, Chief,
believe,
indeed,
yeah.
yes.
However, does this put him to 4 fairies? Do we know if this puts him to 4 fairies? Who's calling?
Okay, we got a judge call here.
We got a judge call. We don't know what the judge call could
Don't
be.
know what the judge call is.
But I'll take this as a moment to say, follow me on YouTube. Subscribe right now if you haven't already. Smash that subscribe, smash that like button.
Yeah, if you have any YouTube Primes, go ahead and throw them his way.
YouTube Prime doesn't exist, but thank you. for-
Sorry, I'm just trying to help.
It's okay. It's okay. So, you could become a member, I guess. I don't know what the... Jeff Bezos, please. Give me that Prime. He didn't destroy the Consecrated. What? Because he knows about the Junk Synchron. There's layers to this.
There are layers to this, I suppose. I'm thinking now, what? This is a really, I'm not sure what's going on here. Truly, I really don't understand what the game plan is here.
Yeah, this is very strange. Someone in chat says he was going to drop Honest and special summon Kristya. I'm surprised he didn't do that then. But the Raikou probably didn't target. Does Raikou have to target before you choose if you use Honest? Or do you have to use Honest before Raikou targets?
you know, I believe you target first, but...
Yeah, I think you target first. Here comes brain control.
Ooh. Are we going to see the illegal play that is definitely illegal in the Edison format?
Was a tribute set.
Tribute summon. I believe you can do that. Yeah. So
the
illegal legal play. There it is.
This is an Edison format classic, a ruling from times past.
Yes, this is no longer legal in modern rules, but you know what? We are playing the best format here, so...
Once again, this situation, I think it's a little bit tough to see. It's a little bit tough to see this.
Yeah.
But yes. Vayu banishing Sirocco. And this is going to be massive damage if all of this connects. We don't know what is in Michael C's back row. Did you happen to see what he set there?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's a bluff. I believe it's a spell card.
You believe it's a spell card. The way his body language is, it's telling me it's a bluff as well. But we'll see. We'll find out. Maybe someone in the chat knows. Crazy games. I think like a lot of stuff could have gone one way or the other thus far that definitely alter the course of the future, if you will.
So 2,300 coming in, and I'm sure he'll attack with 2,400 as well. Yep.
James says maybe he doesn't have Honest. He does have Honest. I believe we saw it in his hand. So that's going to drop Michael down to... No, Matt K is still at 7,200 here. We're going to drop Michael down to... He's going to drop 4,700 lower. I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, oh my god.
It's 32.
It's like a very
32.
Very professional. Envy's Dust Tornado hitting Burial. Crazy that he set the Burial there. I would have not set that card. Yeah, that's a strange...
He probably wasn't expecting Dust Tornado, because they all had Decree, right, for the most part?
That could have been it. Yeah, maybe he was hoping to mess with the numbers. And Kristya here is still good game, and there is one in his hand. So there's a lot of potential options here. If he has 5 fairies, he can go up to 4 by summoning the Junk Synchron, bringing out Herald. That is a potential play. If he has 3 fairies, then he's going to need to somehow drop that Honest in order to get the Kristya live for main phase 2.
He could just always summon and crash. Oh, he just has 4
fairies.
Lovely.
Okay, well, this is just... I mean, this is just everything you ever wanted as a fairy player. And Kristya, how does it do against this deck? I'm sure you're familiar playing against
It's not great.
It's not great.
It is really rough, yes. You play a lot of trap cards, obviously, but you just got to throw it, you know, play around the trap cards. Don't attack with it ever, pretty much, you know?
Yes. With the brain control gone, too, as well.
Oh, yeah.
You can pretty safely summon the DD Warrior Lady here. He's going to add back the Alchemist. I think that's the best add back here as well. Yeah, you can summon the DD Warrior Lady here and just run over the Raikou, run over the Caius, and then the Warrior Lady can banish the Armed Wing, and you can pretty solidly take over this game.
I don't hate just summoning Alchemist, activating effect, and killing both the big monsters. Yeah, with Honest. I like this.
Okay. That is interesting. The reason I don't like this at all, using the Honest here, is on the crackback, if Matt K has even just a way to run over the Alchemist, it puts Michael up to 5 fairies. So I like attacking over the Raikou and saving the Honest for the crackback.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I think that's much better.
I guess my line of thinking here is Vayu Turbo can really weasel its way out of...
Oh, he is going to use the Honest?
Yeah, the Vayu Turbo can weasel its way out of some really weird situations.
Not
and
with
Matt K...
Yes.
well, with Matt K only having 2 cards left, I kind of just want to get the game over with, you know?
Matt K did take 400 life points there and then 1,800, so he took 2,200, dropping down to 5,000. But yeah, again, I think there's really no difference between leaving the Armed Wing and the Raikou in play and keeping the Honest in hand. And the Honest in hand is better positionally. The Armageddon Knight here, again, this Armageddon Knight's going to come down. It's going to be able to attack over that Alchemist. All of a sudden, you go to 5 fairies. That being said, if the Kristya does get answered, he does have that Junk Synchron to put himself back to 4 fairies. It's like another piece of grave control. I do believe that card sent is Necrogard now. That's the same one we saw last game. It's got 3 stars, so I'm assuming...
Gosh, and you know, Michael's very lucky that Matt did not have a Caius here, because that Raikou did survive, so...
Yes.
It's another good reason to maybe hold the Honest.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, if he has the Caius, then it's better to not have... It's better to have 2 threats in play that can defend the attacks, and then you drop the Honest, and then the next turn you get the... you get a Kristya again, basically.
So minus 100 for Michael here. He's 3,100. Not the safest life total ever, but, you know, with Kristya on board and you're chaining Alchemists, I'm feeling pretty happy here.
Yeah.
So... Okay.
Herald of Orange Light, the draw for turn, which is pretty good. Ooh. Here comes Trap Dust Shoot, but that's really not going to matter because what's killing you is not what's in the hand.
Yeah.
And this hand is so stacked that it's like, honestly...
You know, if I'm Matt, I'm potentially even just holding the Trap Dust Shoot here for combat because that might force Michael to switch the Kristya to defense position. At least you save some damage. You can Trap Dust Shoot them potentially in the end phase. Decide what you're doing after that.
Honestly,
the risk
if
is
I'm Matt,
brain control, of course.
I'm actually conceding here. He has 1 card in hand.
Yeah.
He's pretty much
not
dead.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, he's not winning this game.
20 minutes left in the round, and I will say the Fairy deck does a pretty dang good job at stalling the game sometimes.
Yeah,
so.
I would just concede here. But that's just me. Maybe Matt K can fight his way
He
back.
might have something, yeah.
Yeah, he might be the GOAT. Who knows? We'll see. Here comes DD Warrior Lady. We are operating today under the Konami official time rules, so it is end of phase. He's going to attack Armageddon Knight with the DD Warrior Lady. Dropping Matt K another 100. This is a missed sequence attack from
Absolutely,
Michael.
yes. He missed a lot of damage there, 1,400 to be exact. But
yeah.
Just 100 off Matt K, leaving him at 4,900.
Yep.
Definitely still not healthy here with only 2 cards. It looks like that's a Sirocco left in his hand. Not great. Not great.
Yeah, Sirocco's not going to cut it here. It can trade with the DD Warrior Lady, but then you've got this Kristya problem, you know?
Yeah.
We got to talk about the Kristya problem. And I think that this version of the Lightsworn Kristya deck, if deck dev isn't found, I mean, it's just the deck naturally is a predator on these types of like Vayu Turbo, Machina Turbo type decks. Here comes an attack with just the Kristya. I might have considered even, well, what's in his hand? We don't really know what's in his hand.
No.
I might have considered
2,800 off here.
Oh, it looks like he wanted to set a monster. Okay, interesting.
Does he have a Fairy in hand for his Herald?
There's an Armageddon Knight. That's not going to be enough to do the thing. Okay. I think we're going to be moving to game 3 here.
I think we're going to game 3. Yes.
Yeah, but we'll find out. Matt K really taking his time, and maybe he realizes, with 20 minutes left in the round, that should be plenty. And for most Edison matches, like, have you ever gone into time?
I can safely say I have never gone into time since playing Edison in 2020. Obviously, back in the day, I had to read a lot of cards, things like that. But since coming back to the game in 2020, I have not gone into time a single time.
Same. And I normally play, like, fairly slow decks, quick draw fairy, that type of thing. And still, this format, I think, is 45-minute round timer is plenty, as long as you're not encountering any. There's a Raikou. This is just going to give Matt K more information. An additional consecrated, maybe, was that the one we saw earlier, DD Crow?
No, no, there was one in the graveyard that he was going to bring back with Junk Synchron. Or no, he did send that one back, didn't he? No, because he summoned it and then locked out his own Junk Synchron, Yeah, he does still have Necroguard in the graveyard, so he's not dead here, but...
I think you just attack with Kristya here, hold up the Herald. It's very...
Oh? I understand. I do get it.
I don't understand.
I understand.
I don't understand.
No, I would just attack. I'm saying I understand the fear of potentially having to play another game after this. But see, this isn't lethal though, so I'm not thrilled about this.
It isn't lethal, and also like it shuts off your own Herald. Not that this really matters. He knows about that brain control, so that little slip there is not too big of an issue. But yeah, Michael definitely looking a little bit nervous here. Here's going to be a pass the turn from
Matt K at 300 life.
We are going to activate Avarice. I feel like there's no reason to activate further because at this point...
I'm just attacking.
Yeah, just don't show your opponent too much.
I'm not even activating Dimensional Alchemist. I'm just attacking.
What you send back with Avarice here can tell your opponent more about your deck as well.
Can. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's also time off your clock.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, look at how much time he's spending. He does still have to win the next game, Yeah. So, I mean, obviously Michael's not going to concede here in this power position. But
and even if Matt K has something like a DD Crow, he's just not going to activate it.
Yeah.
He's just not going to show Michael that because he's already dead. Like, you're just wasting time as Michael. And if you're Matt, you're probably pretty happy about that, given how aggressively he was able to take over the game 1 through the mistakes. But yeah. Good stuff. A solid match so far.
Absolutely.
Really
I mean,
cool
this
round 1.
Looks like this is just lights out here. I would not have done that. Unless Torrential Tribute is in the graveyard, I would not have summoned that. Okay.
He did have the Mirror Force.
He did have the Mirror Force. Look at us. Egg on our face.
I'm bad.
Still not a great position.
Bad. I don't know what to tell you guys, but I'm bad. Okay, force the Mirror Force. I would not have summoned the Jane, but I mean, there's still a Kristya in play, so what can you do? And
there it
we're
is.
going to the next one. Once again, maybe Matt K, maybe he thinks he's favored in time due to the nature of his deck. A slow start from the opponent's deck is more often going to be the case than a slow start from Matt K, I believe. But that moment when he trapped out his opponent and saw the writing on the wall, I might have considered conceding.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you said, there is always with going first on Vayu Turbo, there's always just the set hamster, pass, into a Caius, into a Greffer, bunch of damage coming through on the first turn, bearing, a Kai or a Gores or something. But
Yes. I concur. Yes. Indeed. Look at their beautiful faces. Look at these beautiful Edison duelists out here on with a bunch of the duelists. Just had a chance to meet a bunch of people. It was really cool.
It's nice putting faces to names that I've played against on dueling, or
in real life at your
in
locals.
real life at my locals versus games in Oviedo,
But
Florida.
you've never seen their
remote
face.
duels on
remote
Discord.
duels. That's what it
yes.
is. Yes, remote duels. Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. On Master Duel.
Master Duel.
We've played against them on Master Duel.
Yeah, can we get Edison on Master Duel? That'd be lovely.
Can we get best of 3 on Master Duel?
All right, okay. All right.
Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Okay. But back to the match at hand. Who you got? Who do you think's winning this one? Michael C or Matt K? I mean,
look. I'm a fan of both of these guys. I really am. But inside of my chest, there is a Vayu beating loudly.
Vayu beating loudly?
Yes. Always.
I, for some reason, am having trouble pulling up the chat to see what they're saying about your situation there. So, yeah, you know what? Maybe they agree with you, maybe they don't. I'm gonna go with Michael C here. This is a classic case of skill versus matchup.
Yeah.
Because I think Michael C's absolutely got the matchup advantage.
I'm never happy to play against Kristya, ever.
Yeah.
With Vayu Turbo.
And I think that Matt K is definitely a more experienced player.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real, he's more experienced than almost every single person in the room. So, it's just going to come down to that. Can he leverage his experience in a matchup that is,
not the greatest, yeah. I have found, at least in this format, that oftentimes you can. Oftentimes the better player will win in this game, but it is still a game of variance, so.
Yes, indeed. So, moving into Game 3, I didn't get a chance to see what either of them were really sighting in, but we shall see. Just going to double check and make sure the stream is nice for all of you guys on this end. Looks like we have a good connection, so, hell yeah. I mean, heck yes. Heckin' darn.
Heckin' yeah.
I'm so excited. RBET Orlando. We've been looking forward to this tournament since you messaged me about it about a year ago.
God, it's been forever, yeah. I can't believe we're actually here. And the turnout was great.
Thank you to everyone involved, all the people who worked on the behind the scenes, setting up the venue. The production of this looks phenomenal. Shout out to Versus Games, of course. Make sure and support them on social media and Twitch. And make sure and check out at Jafero.
Yes.
Jafero.
Yes, _. Jafero _ I post a lot of memes.
So many memes.
Good
I like
memes.
all your memes. Oh, a little bit of a reveal there of Call of the Haunted and Matt K laughing. He's like, free information, yes. It feeds his soul. I love it when my opponents mess up. It's just it's the best feeling in the world, honestly.
Man, and Keegan, look at this. 12 minutes left in the round.
Yeah. All just from the pile shuffling,
yeah.
the avarice use, they spend an additional 8 minutes, and this is why people go into time.
Yeah, I really feel like an early concession would have been beneficial here for both of them. Now, I understand.
Obviously,
listen,
Michael not conceding.
Right.
In his winning
I
game.
get it, right? When you have the Mirror Force, Michael made a misstep earlier in that turn already. You're hoping he attacks in that Mirror Force and you climb out. Yeah, his graveyard was stacked. He maybe could have done a little something here. So I understand it. I probably would have conceded as well, though, especially after the trap dust shoot. Let's see how this game goes here.
Yes.
Game number 3 on the way here. And you really don't want to draw in round 1,
Set
especially.
2
So.
from Michael. Is there a dust shoot?
Dust shoot?
Yes, there
Yep,
is a
of
dust
course.
shoot. Going first, there's a Typhoon.
Herald of Purple. Okay.
Not something I expected to see, but, well, it is because I built the deck. But, I mean, let's be real. Okay, opening hand, kind of sus. He can out a lot of back row, but he can't get his engine going without that Raikou. So we'll see if the Raikou is going to be the take, or we'll see if it's going to be Archer or Kristya. 3 back row responses, and only 1 card in. And you know what? If I'm Michael, I might have Herald of Purple that does shoot. Just to get 2 fairies in the grave?
Yeah, I mean, and you do have the Raikou could potentially mill 2 more, and then, okay, so he's taking the Kristya, which means that this face-down card is very, very likely just another Raikou, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have Raikou set, you're probably taking the Raikou.
If you're Michael, I think you just go pretty safe, Heavy Storm, summon Honest, attack the set. And the reason I say Heavy Storm is because Typhoon can hit Deck Devastation Virus in the end phase.
Very true. It looks like he just passed without doing anything, which I probably would have at least set the Typhoon, because if that's a Raikou and he flips it, you're just chaining. So, and you're not, you're not feigning gores here.
The only reason you don't set the Typhoon is to make sure your Heavy Storm functionally cold waves your opponent. But this damage...
Okay, really, really, really good draw off the top here. We have a charge of the Light Brigade. I assume we're just going to snap that off. Yep,
yes.
Okay.
One of the power spells, one of the reasons I like playing this build specifically, is going to
Two fairies off the top.
Imagine he had Heralded Pigeon Honest. He would have had 4 fairies, and he would have been able to summon that Christie.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. We wouldn't.
No. So
he shuffled his deck.
We have to assume that card. Well, yeah. I was gonna say we have to assume that is a Raikou, and Arcus here is absolutely the take, right?
Dude, Arcus is so good.
Is he gonna eat a Torrential? Is he gonna eat a Mirror Force?
No
or
shot.
Is he just gonna attack another Raikou? Right?
He's got to remove the back row.
Yeah.
He's got.
No,
3 ways to
absolutely.
remove the back row.
No,
there's no way he's not removing the back row here, right? But let's see if he decides to use Heavy Storm or Typhoon.
Like I said, he's gonna shotgun one of these removal spells here and then attack with Arcus. Absolutely. It was the Deep Res. Okay, so
would have been blanked by Arcus, but yeah, attack the set.
Absolutely.
And the set is gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. Maybe he's wary of Hamster, but Hamster would have got flipped that last turn.
Absolutely.
So I think it's pretty safe to assume it's Raikou here, right? That being said, he does have Honest to back up this Arcus, so let's see if he can correct his position from the first game here in Game 3 and figure things out. And one thing I do like about Michael is that in Game 1 he did play his Arcus into Mirror Force. Game 2, in a situation where I myself would have made a mistake, he switches Christie to defense and played around Mirror Force, so he adapted from the first game. And we'll see if he does that continuously throughout this game. Now he does have Herald of Purple.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this though: if he didn't have Typhoon or Heavy Storm, are you attacking?
Here? You have Herald of Purple.
No, last turn.
Yeah, totally.
You're still attacking? Okay.
Yeah, totally. Here comes the Heavy Storm, and here comes the Arcus attack, and that's going to be Raikou, and Raikou's just going to mill 3. Yep. There goes the Mirror Force.
And double.
Wow. But no Sirocco.
No Sirocco, and that was. I mean, hey, Mirror Force is one of your few outs to Kristya, so that's good to see that gone. The double Vayu is very scary.
Insane mills here from Matt K. Can he get a Sirocco in the grave?
I believe he has one in hand. So
that being said, Michael C. also picked up a DD Crow, I believe.
I did see that.
So DD Crow on the Sirocco here is kind of nuts. If Matt K doesn't play around DD Crow, and it looks like he's not, he's sending Plague Spreader Zombie, that DD Crow is going to get him real good on that Sirocco. It could also get him on the Plague, but yes. And these players, they haven't taken any damage yet thus far, I believe. So that's good. Life points are up to date. Was that Necrogarnet? That was banished off of Lure, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Stacking for Plague.
There it is.
That hurts. I don't like DD Crowing here. Because now he gets Armed Wing, and he's got 2 more Vayus.
Yeah, Armed Wing can just keep chaining.
If you go Plague into Goyo, that gets Honested, and now he doesn't have the Grave resource. Yeah. This is a very unfortunate missequencing here from Michael, using his DD Crow not in the best way. I'm going to be honest. Can you update Matt's life? He took 400 from Arcus over Vayu. Oh, yes. We will get that. Sorry, our production manager stepped out for a moment. We'll get it as soon as we can. Here comes Mill 3. But if you're Matt K, you just probably very happy because now your Grave resources, you cleared the Honest, you cleared the Raikou, and you did it basically all for free. You also cleared the Crow as well. And now
very
Michael's
low on resources here, though, in hand.
Yeah, he knows about the Herald of Purple, and I think that's the last card in his hand. Unless I'm mistaken.
No, that's it, yeah.
What is the card off the top there?
A Pot of Avarice.
And Matt K with the
crazy
hand flip. Yeah, just an insane draw. And that's how this deck does it. Now, keep in mind, Pot of Avarice does target 5 cards, and Arcus prevents the targeting of Lightsworn monsters anywhere in the graveyard. So Michael actually cannot target a Lightsworn monster here. He has to target 5 non-Lightsworn monsters. It looks like he does have well over 5 non-Lightsworn monsters here. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and he cannot target one of those Raikous. He has to target the DD Crow. Okay.
Do you like the Crow?
I do like shuffling back the Crow here to prevent the further Vayu activations. Honestly, if you were Matt K, you probably wanted to summon the Armor Master main phase 1 there just to play around.
Yeah.
Potential Kristya, potential something. And we're back. Life points should be adjusted now. Looks like we have the correct life totals on the screens. D2 says, you're sure Matt K is very happy about this round 1? I don't know about that. He's
either.
kind of losing.
This matchup is not the greatest.
Not only is he losing on board, well, besides this Armor Master, but okay, now he's not.
Cool.
He was losing with regards to the life, and as the time dwindles in the match, that's not where you want to be.
So Michael takes 1,300 here.
Drops down to 5,900.
And Michael pulls a Kristya off the top with, I believe, 4 fairies in the graveyard.
Yeah, he had set up that 4 fairy.
There it is.
The Pot of Avarice, and there's Kristya.
No
that's going to be able
bottomless.
to add back. Probably Honest.
Any torrential? Yeah, I mean, this is.
And he's got Herald of Purple.
Herald
here
of
to negate
Purple?
any sort of trap card interaction that's going to attack. There's the Deep Prison.
Yep, get the 2 cards from your
Here
opponent.
comes Herald of Purple,
Absolutely.
discarding Consecrated Light, keeping the Honest in hand to defend against that Silverwind coming. But the Silverwind can't even come because Kristya's in play.
Nope,
so.
not this turn at least. Okay, good draw off the top. It's a Ryko. Not the worst.
What is that card that Michael just picked up?
It's a Brain Control. Good card. Not gonna do it here.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, it goes on top of the deck. Okay.
There's mill 3. This is actually kind of tough. And the set card, do we know the set card from Michael?
No.
It was a card he must have drawn off of that Pot of Avarice, if I remember correctly.
Did I just see a Dark Gruffer come off the top? I'm
Here comes the
concerned
Vayu
here.
activation for Silverwind. This is very threatening. However, that is every Vayu gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Plague Predator's gone too. So and Burial is gone. So we're playing a neutered version of the deck here. Okay.
Spirit Reaper.
Okay.
Not what I would have expected here. But
Either hit is great here. Either
Yep,
hitting Honest or Brain Control.
Either one of these is
Whichever.
very good.
Brain
And you know Kristya's coming off the top, so Michael's just, if he has no interaction here, he's just done. He can set the Honest to wall up for a turn, I believe, but we don't know what his back row is, and yeah, I don't know.
3,100 from Michael that turn, is that right?
Yes, he took a total of 3,100, dropping down to 2,800.
Which is conveniently enough for Silverwind to clean out here.
Exactly. He's got to set the Honest to survive a turn, but that Reaper's going to take that Kristya out. And there's Mind Control off the top, and that's going to be, I believe, lethal. There's no stopping it. Flip Honest. That could have played into a potential torrential, and there's a handshake. You know,
the thing is,
crazy close match.
I'm actually not so sure that's the play there, right? Because you're playing in a torrential, and I think torrential is much more likely than Mirror Force.
Yeah, because it didn't get used last turn. Yeah.
So I'm a little worried here, but hey, Matt K takes it down. Okay.
Once again, I do think that was definitely a play versus matchup thing. Can you leverage your good matchup, or can you outplay enough? And I think Matt K was definitely able to leverage his skill in a matchup that's normally pretty bad, I would say.
I agree, yeah. And I agree here. I do think that this Kristya deck is probably last on his list of matchups he wants to play, especially early on in the tournament. These decks tend to fall out on a long tournament like this. Looks like 12 rounds total, including the top cut. So I'm sure he's thrilled to get it out of the way early.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, great match. Great way to open up the tournament. Really exciting. Let's go ahead and pan over to the bingo card so we can add some updates to that boy.